Hey guys, so we are going to take a look at a hypothesis test for two proportions. So it says test the claim that the proportion of men who own cats is significantly different than the proportion of women who own cats at the 0.02 significance level. So they tell us, right, so alpha is 0.02. And so it looks, right, so it's saying men who own cats and women who own cats. So if I look, right, we're talking about proportion of men who own cats, right? So we could call this P sub M, and then proportion of women who own cats is P sub F. So I can write my null and alternative. And so we're talking about population proportions. So proportion of males that own cats, proportion of females that own cats. And it says who own cats is significantly different than the proportion of women who own cats. So what they're saying, right, it's not the same. So my null is always equal to. My alternative is going to be not equal to. A not equal to is a two-tailed test. And then it gives us some more information, right? We have at the bottom that based on a sample of 60 men, 35% own cats, and based on a sample of 60 women, 45% own cats. So I have, right, so if we're talking about men and women, so men, right, so if I say this is, there we go. So for men, right, and women, so we know n sub 1 is 60, and then p hat sub 1 or p hat sub m, whichever you want to sort of write, is 0.35. So in order to find x sub m, we can multiply n sub m times p hat sub m. We want to find the number of successes because I'm going to enter this into my calculator. So I have 60 times 0.35. And if you do that on your calculator, I'm going to do it quick on mine here, times 0.35, I end up with 21. So that's the number of successes. For women, I have a sample size of 60. The proportion is, right, 45%, so 0.45. So the number of successes for females, right, that own cats would be 0.45 times 60, or 27. Okay, so now what I want to do, I'm going to bring my calculator up here. I want to enter this into my calculator. So I'm going to go back to stat. I'm going to go over to tests. And I want the two proportion z-test. So on my calculator, it's number 6. And so x sub 1, right? So x sub 1 in this case, right? Whatever the first population was. So it was the proportion of men who own cats. So that was, we calculated it to be 21. The sample size, right, was 60. For the females, the number of successes, so 27, right, on the cat out of the 60. And then we're looking at a two-tailed test, and we want to calculate this. So from our calculator, right, we find my test statistic, right, negative 1.118, and then my p-value is 0.2636. So if I were to compare, right, we compare the p-value with alpha, right? Alpha is definitely smaller, so my p-value is larger, so we are going to fail to reject the null. So basically, with the results that we got, it doesn't really seem that there's a very big difference between the proportion of men who own cats versus the proportion of women who own cats. So I hope this helps a little bit, just thinking about what we're finding and how to sort of go through and complete our hypothesis test.